Hello, I'm Dwight Arthur McCarrowack, and welcome to the Nightly News. This just in, Harry Truman has won the 1948 presidential election. Mr. Truman came from behind to win a 303 to 189 electoral vote victory over his Republican contender, Mr. Thomas Dewey. Dewey was the favorite candidate and was expected to win, so much so that polling stopped months in advance of the election. However, Mr. Truman worked hard on his campaign and pulled ahead. Initial votes showed that Mr. Dewey was in the lead, leading the Chicago Tribune to publish the headline, "Dewey Defeats Truman." Mr. Truman proudly showcased this headline to his supporters as news of his victory rolled in. Let the story be a lesson to the Chicago Tribune about rushing to get the first headline in. Mr. Truman became president for his first term after the death of beloved President FDR, and continues his New Deal with his own Fair Deal. We now go to Dan Michelson with the latest in music.
Thanks, Dwight. Hip new rock and roll is sweeping the nation with artists like Elvis climbing to the top of the charts. Elvis is the proclaimed king of rock and roll, and his music is influenced greatly by black music such as jazz and R&B. He was exposed to this type of music growing up in the poor rural South. He rose to fame by working with Sam Phillips and trying to bring black music to white listeners. Elvis is also known because of his controversial hip gyrations, which he displayed on the Ed Sullivan Show. He is now going to be censored from the waist down, and I guess it's because he is stirring teenage rebellion. Good luck, Elvis, and good luck for rock and roll, and we'll go to Stan with the newest in literature.
Thanks, Dan. And in other news, new types of literature have been sweeping the nation. From the so-called beat movement, artists have been writing things from poems to novels. This movement has inspired a whole group of teenagers to live a new lifestyle of nonconformity and just live outside the norm. Popular among such novels is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This book features a first-hand account of a cross-country trip taken by Jack and his friends. This book inspires a whole new group of teenagers, covering topics from the Red Scare and McCarthyism to new music and drug use. On the Road will bring out the rebellious teenager in all of us. And now, back to you in the studio.
Hello, I'm Dwight Arthur McCarrowack. There's been a lot of controversy throughout the country recently as a result of this image. I have here a still from the popular sitcom I Love Lucy, clearly depicting two women wearing pants. This has sparked a controversy throughout the country as people debate gender roles and women's place in the family. I have here Dan Michelson and Stan to share their opinions on the topic. Mr. Michelson, would you like to start?
Yes, thanks, Dwight. I think it's an outrage. This is so different from what we've seen on television, and it's so different than what's actually going on in the households. I just don't think it's right that women should wear pants. Men go out and work and provide for the family. They wear the pants in the relationship. Women have no business wearing pants. They're supposed to be in the household. They're supposed to cook, clean, provide for their kids, and make dinner for when the husband comes home. He does the working, she does the cooking, cleaning, and taking care of things around the house. And that's what's worked so far for our American family, and that's what we got to keep going on. We can't have these changes. It's just ridiculous.
I see. And Mr. Stan, do you have a rebuttal?
I do. Now, I think this is a huge step forward for women in America. This makes them become their own person. This gives them individuality. This gives them the ability to create their own self.
No. I mean, what's next? Are women going to become president?
Mr.
No,
Michelson, Mr. Michelson, he gave you your time. Please allow him his.
See, a woman could become president if she wanted to. She can. It could happen someday. That's just, this is the direction the country is moving towards. This is the future of America. This is what our children and our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, this is what they will be brought up with. This is going to be normal. This is what the country will become someday.
I see. Well, thank you, gentlemen. After the commercial break, we'll be back. What is TV teaching your children? On the popular sitcom Leave It to Beaver, the titular character calls a girl a smelly old ape. What influence will this have on your children? We'll be right back.
Glug, 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 glug. Isn't that Coke delicious? He seems to think so. Hey, there's Big Soup McJohnson. Now, maybe you should give him a Coke. Oh no, it's empty. Maybe you should apologize and make it up with the delicious Coke. Link Coca-Cola.
Hello, this is Dwight Arthur McCarrock once again. With me I have Sloan Wilson, author of the novel The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit. Now, Sloan, your book has become a major hit, as well as the movie based off of it. Why do you think that is?
Well, Dwight, I feel that the book really reaches and connects with Americans when they read it.
I see. Would you care to elaborate on why?
For any of you out there who haven't read my book, it's about a disconnected businessman. His workplace is filled with yes men, and his ideas are really unappreciated. His boss finally sees his merit, though, and offers him a job that pays a little higher. The protagonist, Tom, sees how work has ruined his boss's life, so he decides to decline his offer and keep his regular hours. That way he can keep spending time with his family, and that way he doesn't ruin any kind of relationships along his family.
I see. I understand that there are other parts of the book that resonate with Americans today as well.
That's true, Dwight. Tom's a veteran, like myself and a lot of other men in the generation. He has his problems at home, too. He's, alienated from his wife and his daughter, and his children are absolutely addicted to television, which I think a lot of Americans can understand what he's going through, and they can kind of relate to that.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people say your book highlights a certain conformity that's taken over American life recently. Would you agree?
I would, Dwight. However, I think now that I brought that kind of a problem into light, people will try to fix it. As I understand, the business community is already looking at practices, and they're trying to figure out what they're doing wrong, what they can do to fix it. So I think it's definitely making some strides.
I see. Well, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kerouac.
The 50's.
Yes!